Namo Buddha Shakyamuni. This is the beginning of an excerpt of a live interpretation of an oral commentary given by Bhikkhu Thich Tue on the Avatamsaka Sutra. Namo Buddha Shakyamuni, respectable Sangha members. Today is the fourth month, the ninth day of the year of the rat, and we have the great blessing to be learning the Avatamsaka Sutra, the dedication chapter. It starts with this. When great enlightening beings have properly dedicated their roots of goodness, they form this thought: many suns do not appear because of the multitude of sentient beings in the four continents. Only one sun appears, yet it can shine on all sentient beings. Also, sentient beings do not know the day and night, or travel, or see, or carry out their work by the light of their own bodies. The accomplishment of these things all depends on the immersions of the sun, yet the sun is only one, not two. In the same way, great enlightening beings cultivating and amassing roots of goodness, thinking as they dedicate them, sentient beings cannot save themselves. How can they save others? Only I alone have this unique determination. They cultivate and amass roots of goodness and dedicate them in this way. That is to liberate all sentient beings, to illumine all sentient beings, to guide all sentient beings, to enlighten all sentient beings, to watch over and attend to all sentient beings, to take care of all sentient beings, to perfect all sentient beings, to gladden all sentient beings, to bring happiness to all sentient beings, and to cause all sentient beings to become freed from doubt. Here, from the beginning of this chapter until now, we can see that the Bodhisattvas use all of their roots of goodness to dedicate to the sentient beings. It means that throughout their practices, whatever merits they gather, whatever roots of merits they have, whatever virtues they have gathered, they dedicate them all to the sentient beings. When we are talking about the multitude of sentient beings in the four continents, we can only imagine, but we can really see very clearly. But the Bodhisattvas can see very clearly the multitudes of sentient beings in the four continents. They see very clearly the four continents. So each continent is completely filled with sentient beings, but it only needs one sun. It doesn't need too many suns. One sun alone can shine and illuminates the four continents and illuminates all sentient beings. Because the Bodhisattvas can see very clearly, as we've mentioned in the past, that the sentient beings, because they are attached to small desires, that they end up being stuck in the samsara. Because they are attached to these desires, they do not see the ultimate truth. They do not have enough light to illuminate themselves. So the Bodhisattvas use their own light, their luminosity, to teach the sentient beings, to enlighten the sentient beings. So the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas in the 10 directions see the karmas and the I guess the attitudes, the personalities of the sentient beings very clearly, and they have to go to each realm where the sentient beings are to enlighten them, to guide them, to liberate them. So they already knew in advance what we are like, what we needed. So before they came to these worlds or came to our realms, they already knew about that, and they identify themselves or think of themselves as the sun, and the sun is what can radiate the light and can shine through and illumine the sentient beings. And they use their roots of goodness to dedicate to the sentient beings. And they come here to meet with the sentient beings because the sentient beings cannot free themselves, cannot save themselves. And if they cannot save themselves, then how can they save other sentient beings? So we can see that ever since we've learned the Buddha Dharma until now, Those people who can save themselves, who are they? So we can understand very easily that only those who are enlightened can save themselves. And why is it that we are not enlightened yet? Why is it that we cannot save ourselves yet? So that is the issue. So we can see that very clearly that we cannot save ourselves because we are stuck in our physical bodies. There hasn't been once that we were able to transcend our bodies. And if we haven't been able to transcend our bodies, then there's no way that we can transcend the three worlds. So no matter how much knowledge we have, but we haven't been able to transcend our physical bodies, then it's like we're still stuck. What kind of power can we use to transcend our physical bodies? We are stuck here in our bodies, and we know that we have a body. We are sitting here and we close our eyes and we calm ourselves, we calm our mind, and we can see our physical body is sitting right here below us. So according to the theories, whatever we see, whatever we can see, that is not our true self. That which we know, it's not ourselves either. It's the outer aspect of ourselves. Yet we continue to see our physical body as ourselves, and that is a delusion. So once we can truly see, can truly know that this physical body is not truly ours, then we have a little bit of enlightenment. But at the moment, we see that ourselves is truly ourselves. So now when our finger hurts, when our teeth hurt, when I have a cold, when I have a headache, then we keep saying, oh, I have this pain, I have this headache. It's always I. But have we ever thought about when we have pain in our finger, then we said, oh, our finger is hurt. When our head is hurt, we think our head is hurt, and it is I who is aware that our head is hurt. It is I who is aware that our finger is hurt. So we need to have a truthful way of seeing this. We have to have wisdom to be able to see it correctly. So the Buddhas have taught us, and the Buddha had said many times in the sutra that this body is not ourselves, this body is not I, that this body is not ourselves. So not just in one sutra, but in many sutras, the Buddha had taught us that, and we have memorized those lines, and we continue to recite it over and over. But do we believe the Buddha? Do we really believe the Buddha? If we really believe the Buddha, then why don't we see it as appropriately, as truthfully as the Buddha had taught us? Why is it we still think that this body is ourselves? So we memorize what the Buddha said, but any time that somebody does something to your body, then you will get disturbed right away. If somebody said some harsh words to you and immediately you cannot sleep, you cannot eat, then that is a mistake. That's erroneous. So it's like you're learning from the Buddha, but you don't truly believe in the Buddha. You don't truly act according to the Buddha. So if you truly believe the Buddha, then you would see that your physical body, it's not really ourselves, and whatever happens to this body is just an outer activity. But that which is our true self is something else, because when our finger is hurt, it is our finger that is hurt. That finger is hurt. But then we don't see our finger is hurt or our body is hurt, but we say, oh, I'm being hurt. So we need to really study carefully so that anytime something happens, we have to see the truth. Buddhism is the path to help you see the truth. It is the path to help you see the truth, and you cannot come to Buddhism and not being able to see through the truth. So Buddhism is a path to show to people who have eyes, who have their eyes open. In the beginning, if we want to really save ourselves, then first of all, we have to release our delusion, believing in our own selves. So this is the first step, the first ladder step to save us from samsara. So the first step, the very first step, is to be able to somehow transcend the physical bodies. This is not difficult. If you have enough mental settlement, if you are calm and you are quiescent. So, for example, if you are sitting here and we close our eyes and we breathe in and breathe out quietly, then we see our bodies, right? So, if we close our eyes, we cannot see everything as clearly as when we open our eyes and see the objects. But if our mind is settled and we close our eyes, then we can actually see our bodies. If we keep looking up, not looking up, but looking back into our bodies, slowly over time, you will see everything. And you will see everything very clear. You will see all the pores. You will see the light, and then you will see how the organs are being like. And if the people who are meditating well, they will be able to see very clearly how your physical bodies are. And if you don't have enough meditative absorption like those people, then you can have a certain recognition or certain awareness of how your bodies are. Then if you don't have meditative absorption, then your bodies are just like an object, just like you're looking at a flower. So then you have to somehow work on your awareness and your seeing, so that you will realize that the bodies is something that is that you are looking at. It is an object of your seeing, but it's not you yourself. So then we can have different kinds of afflictive emotions, and there's sadness, there's happiness, there's anxiety, etc. But because we let all these afflictive emotions disturb us. And why is that so? It is because we have a wrong view. We have an erroneous view. And it is because many things will cause us disturbance based on this physical body. So we're not talking about an illusionary body yet, but we're talking about how the Buddha has taught us that this body is not ourselves. Do you believe in what the Buddha said? You nod your head, right? So it means that you believe in the Buddha, right? So if that's so, then if people curse at you, they curse at your body, then would you be sad or would you be upset? No, because our physical body is not ourselves. And the Buddha has said it repeatedly, not just in one sutra, but in multiple sutras. So, but the problem is that we have this kind of belief, but we don't build it up. We don't have a strong foundation, and then anything that happens to this body, becomes very important. So, but if our physical body is not ourselves, and even if they try to kill us or to take away our lives, it doesn't matter, right? Because the physical body is not truly ourselves. So we can say that with our mouths, but then when somebody tries to touch our bodies and try to take away our bodies, then you would get very upset, right? And then you'll be very disturbed. So if you practice up to the point where you don't see this body as yourself, then nothing that is related to this body is of any significance anymore. Even if somebody intentionally kill you and then try to cut off your heads, but then, for example, if it's not your karma to die and then somehow they put your heads back, then you don't have any afflictive emotions whatsoever, because if our bodies is not ourselves, then whatever that happens to our bodies really has nothing to do with us. So if we can have that kind of mental attitude or mental ability, and that means that you already transcend your physical bodies. So in all the circumstances, if we are truly beyond our physical bodies, then the first thing that happens to us is our bodies become very light, very at ease, and anything that has to do with our physical bodies naturally disappear anywhere. We don't even need to release them. Then that means that we are already transcendental. But if we think that our bodies are heavy, if we think that we have to avoid this, that has to do with our physical bodies, we have to avoid that, we have to try to purify it, then that means that you're not transcendental yet. Because if you cannot see this, you cannot see through this very foundational aspect, then there's no way that you can go beyond. First of all, you need to somehow get rid of the wrong view about the physical body. The view of your physical body has been completely wrong ever since the beginning of time, and so this is very difficult for us to go beyond, because during our life and cycle, we have already talked about this in the Prajnaparamita Sutra. We are saying that after we left this physical body, we still have the rest of the other aspect, the rest of the aggregates of sensation, perception, etc. So once we left this aggregates, the 5 aggregates, but we end up in the bottle with all the other aggregates. So all the feelings, sensations, consciousness, everything is still intact. We do not lose anything except our physical body. So even after we die, if we are Mr. Nguyen Van A, we continue to be Nguyen Van A. And if somebody called our name and say, Mr. Nguyen Van A, it's time for us to offer us food, then immediately we will show up. So so we continue to hang on to this name until we have enough karma to enter a second, the next body, even though it's the body of a person or a body of an animal. So before that moment takes place, we will have a second death. For example, if we go on to become a human person, when Mr. Nguyen Van A was sucked in due to the karmic force, then the consciousness is actually very free. It is able to go through everything, through the mountains, through the walls, but it cannot go through the womb of the mother, nor the Bugaya's seed. So to continue on with life and death, now we're going to talk about how we enter the womb. So when yin and yang are united, a fire of desire will flash up, and it will attract multitudes and countless of multitudes of sentient beings. Because as sentient beings, we are attached to the fire of desire. So the multitudes of sentient beings will try to get into that fire of desire. So, but if a sentient being has a karmic connection with this couple of parents, or a very well-connected karma, then naturally there will be a karmic core, and then the consciousness will be able to suck in, even though the consciousness may be from far away and the other sentient beings may be close by, but this karmic force, it's so strong, we cannot even try to avoid it, and it's so strong.
Nó mạnh đến cái độ mà mình hút đến mình đập
So this karmic force will suck us in, and then our head would hit the womb, hit the wall of the womb, and then it's just like it's like it's whirling. It's and then when our head hits the wall of the womb, it hits so very hard, and the force of karma is so very powerful. And the moment we touch the wall of the womb, then all of the memories from the past life, the previous life, it's completely erased. So that's when the villagers kept saying that, oh, we are eating the rice porridge of an erased memory. So once we wake up from this, we would become very fearful, and we would try to be attached to something. So we're trying to be attached to some kind of light, and when the sperm and the ovum are in union, there's a spark of light, and then we will try to be attached to that spark of light, and then we'll be at peace, and then we will believe that to be our first refuge. And that is only one. I mean, that's only well, it's just one cell, and then it multiplies into many more cells, and then our cells will be multiplied and multiplied and multiplied. So in the beginning, we were attached to this tiny cell that first entered the womb. So actually, it's not due to the karma from past lives, but it's from that very initial cell. So of course we have many karmas from past lives, but this attachment to this very tiny cell that attaches to the womb of to the wall of the womb, and then it continues to multiply and multiply and multiply into multitudes of cells. So if you want to go beyond this physical, then each cell needs to be transcendental. So each cell has already been something. Each cell is grasping. So each cell grasps at the self of ourselves. So since each cell grasps, then it becomes a complete body. So each cell grasps, each cell graves. So then it multiplies. So it multiplies. So there'll be multitudes of cells, and multitudes of cells are self-grasp. So then each cell has some kind of light that try to protect itself. So if you are in deep meditative absorption, you can see how each cells are being wrapped by a certain kind of light to protect themselves. So if you really want to if you want to transcend these, it's actually very difficult, and you have to have the correct view ever since the very beginning. And if we are calm enough, then actually we can see that the Buddha had said something that has the power of wisdom that was able to penetrate each cell on our bodies. So all the cells after we pass away, the living force of these cells seemingly pass away too, but the grasping, the attachment is still the same. So the moment our consciousness leaves the body, we think that we already passed, right? So we think that once the consciousness leaves the body, then we already die. But no, it is not completely death yet, because the consciousness still is attached. So after we die, our house become our place of refuge. So if we before cremation, if we don't give these consciousness any kind of instructions, Dharma instructions, then they can become very fearful and they become confused, and then they are very fearful after cremation, and then they would sit there and wait to see what will come out of cremation. And then if you see pieces of bones, then the person would sit there and wait for the bones to come out and then be attached to the bones. And then if you bring the urns with the ashes back home, then they will continue to be attached to the urns and be attached to the ash. Even if you become ashes, then they continue to be attached to the ash. Each tiny grain of ash is yourself mistakenly. So it's not very easy to transcend the physical body. But if we are not confused and we believe in what the Buddha taught, and we accept the words of the Buddha and make it into our living force, so that we can see that ever since we learn from the Buddha, then we know that our physical body, it's not ourselves, it's not I, it's not mine, and it becomes something that is very that is very deep within our mental and mentality, and deep within our mind stream. And after we pass away, then we'll be able to not be attached to it and to go beyond. But is this something that's easy? No, it is actually extremely difficult. So if we follow the Buddha and then we don't really practice, then how can we be enlightened? It's just our physical body, and it's not easy to transcend our physical body. And to practice the Buddha Dharma, is it easy or not? If we do not diligently practice, and we do not we do not get used to all the words that the Buddha taught us in the sutras that he left with us, then what kind of practice are we doing? But if we spend all of our time practicing the Buddha Dharma, then we have to have the correct view, a very strong foundation of the correct view, so that we can have a very stable spiritual force, so that first of all we can go beyond our physical bodies. If you can somehow go beyond the physical bodies, then you can tell people, and you can say people that ever since I've learned the Buddha Dharma, ever since I'm practicing the Buddha Dharma, now I can truly have a taste of what the Buddha is trying to tell us. So once you are able to go beyond the physical bodies, then you'll be able to go through life and death very in a stable way. But if you don't have any practice, any power to go beyond your physical bodies, then actually, you are still stuck in this samsaric world. You are still going in a circle, and you're not able to transcend anything. So nobody is trying to put you in bondage, but you yourself cannot transcend it. So that is one sadness that you need to know. So the Bodhisattvas can see here that we are not able to save ourselves. So that is the reason. And if we cannot save ourselves, then how can we save other beings? So when we are studying the Buddha Dharma, we can look for the Buddha Dharma and to study the Buddha Dharma based on this. So if somebody who is our teacher, who is our master to teach us to liberation, then we should ask our teacher, is this person able to transcend his body yet? Can you help me to transcend my physical body? If you study from your master, you have to ask that question. This is something that is very foundational. So if master, if you have the experience to go beyond or to transcend the physical bodies, and you are able to help me to also transcend my bodies, and I would follow you at all rates. But if you cannot do that, then you take care of yourself, and I have to take care of myself. If somebody who is not able to transcend your own body, who is not able to to go beyond your physical self, then how can you save your students? How can you save other beings? So this is what the sutra is saying. So the foundation of our Buddha Dharma, we have learned the Buddha Dharma for a long time, but now if we say we're talking everything from the point of view of the foundation, if at this foundation we're not able to transcend, then it means that we're not able to save ourselves. If we cannot save ourselves, then there's no way we can talk about saving others. Therefore, when we study the Buddha Dharma, we have to look for a master who can save himself first. If the master cannot be in control of his own physical body, and you have to ask somebody to give you medication, to give you an injection, then can you help yourself? No, because if you cannot even save your own physical bodies, then it's just like you have lost everything. And in the future, you will continue to be lost in the samsaric world. No matter how many merits or how much merits you have, but you cannot transcend your own bodies, then there's no use. Well, you may say that this person has great merits, and that person may be born in the God's realm, but you know, how were you able to transcend? Because even if you cannot transcend your physical bodies now, and then after cremation, your body become ashes, and you'll still be attached to the ash and be attached to the bones. Wherever the bones in the ash go, you will follow them. Even if you put them in into the ocean, or you discard them in the ocean, the consciousness will continue to be attached to the ash that was already put into the ocean. So for somebody who's practicing the Buddha Dharma and who's studying the Buddha Dharma well, sometimes we study it all. We study all the theories. But I've said this many times already, and I've repeated this many times. Definitely you have to at least have the correct view and change your view about the physical body, to see that the physical body is not ours, it is not ourselves. We have to see this, we must see this. And then once you are able to do that, then you can go deep into other aspects of the Buddha Dharma. So all this time, because it seems that we were not able to progress because we did not build up our foundation on this to go beyond the physical bodies. So this should be a mantra that you should put on the paper and to repeat it constantly over and over again, that this body is not you, this body is not yourself, this body is not the self that is yours. You have to be able to believe completely in what the Buddha said. So to understand it's something else, but to actually see it spiritually, the way the Buddha described it, is something different. So it says here, only I alone have this unique determination. They cultivate and amass roots of goodness and dedicate them in this way, that is to liberate all sentient beings. So we need one master in this world, and then the Bodhisattva said that he has made the aspiration to continue to practice the Dharma so that he can cultivate the roots of goodness to dedicate to all sentient beings in this way. So what would this Bodhisattva want to do is to liberate all sentient beings. So this is the same aspiration of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. There has not been a single sentient beings that the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have not thought of bringing to liberation. There's no exception. Even when a sentient being who has cursed him, who has tried to kill him, who has tried to harm him, still the Bodhisattva has love for the sentient beings and wants to liberate that sentient beings. For ourselves, if we continue to be selective. We select this person to love, that person to hate. Then that is the aspiration and the enlightened mind of the Bodhisattvas. So if you want to make aspiration, then you have to make aspiration to liberate all sentient beings. And then the second thing is that the Bodhisattva wishes to illumine all sentient beings. So for example, in the past we have said that, for example, we are in the midst of our practice session, we are meditating, and the aspiration for our practice, what is it? What is the motivation? We want to practice so that we can enter meditative absorption, so that we can open up our wisdom, so that we can be enlightened. Well, that is not wrong, but the Bodhisattvas practice because they want to be able to liberate all sentient beings. Of course, at the time when we are not yet liberated, then there's no way that we can liberate other sentient beings. So the motivation is because we are going through life and death, and all sentient beings of all species are also going through life and death, and suffer just as we do. So if we want to liberate all sentient beings, we ourselves want to be liberated so that we have all the compassion, all the methods, all the means, the skillful means in order to liberate all sentient beings. Just like Buddha during his younger days, he wondered why is it the sentient beings had to go to life and death? Is there anything that can help them to go beyond life and death? So that is his motivation, to help sentient beings to go beyond life and death. But these days, our aspiration is like, oh, I suffer so much, so I want to practice so that I can be liberated. But we should think that because we suffer just as much as the sentient beings, so we ourselves want to be liberated so that we can help others to be liberated as well. It is this is a big lesson for us. So in the beginning, what kind of motivation do we go about to look for the truth? Is it the same kind of motivation as the Buddha? Whoever had the motivation that is similar to what the Buddha had when he first started to go look for the Buddha Dharma. So the initial motivation is because I want to liberate all sentient beings, so that's why I want to be liberated in order to liberate all sentient beings. But now we're studying the Buddha Dharma for what reason? If we haven't yet built up our motivation, then we have to learn to build up the correct motivation, to learn how the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas built up their motivation. So those who want to liberate all sentient beings, then you should try to generate the Bodhisattva's aspiration. And if you don't follow this this path of generation of motivation, then there's no way that you can become enlightened. If you want to follow the same path of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, you need to be able to generate the same motivation. So you should try before each of your meditation practice. You want to show gratitude to the Buddhas, and then you want to purify the karma, and you have to try to generate the correct motivation. So if you think that I want to have enough merits, I want to have wisdom to liberate all sentient beings, then your meditation will be powerful, bloat, and then that meditative session will become very powerful and very beneficial. So if you don't generate this mind, this enlightening mind of liberating all sentient beings, then your meditative sessions will not be that successful or beneficial. So due to the motivation to liberate all sentient beings, to illuminate all sentient beings that you practice, to illuminate all sentient beings, it doesn't mean that you use the sun to brighten them up, but no, it is to illumine their minds, to illuminate their minds, not to illuminate the outer aspects of them. And then they want to guide all sentient beings, because we have been on the wrong path. So the Bodhisattvas would like to remind us to return to our roots, and then they want to enlighten all sentient beings. That's the next step. Have we ever been physically in front of an enlightened being? Then we would see that whatever they try to teach us, the instruction that they want to give us, they are very truthful, they are very sincere, they are very authentic. They don't want to wait on. They want us to be able to get enlightened right at that moment. Because if they try to teach us something and we somehow let go of this opportunity, then they lose the chance. But if in front of an enlightenment being and we use all of our mental force to turn toward our wish to learn from them, then we would be able to get enlightened very, very quickly. But because we are so stubborn when we are in front of an enlightened being, we become stubborn. We continue to be attached to ourselves, grasping. We grasp at ourselves, and we kept saying, "Oh, this is wrong, that is right." We debate with him, and then it's just like, oh, if this is just like trying to get something or to buy something and to sell something, but that's not the way they should be learning from a spiritual master. So if you don't accept that person as your spiritual master yet, then of course you can use all of your power and your knowledge to test him. But once you understand that, or you recognize that this is an enlightened person and that person is able to teach you, then you should let go of everything, and you should give your your whole being to this master. Whatever he wants to do, you would let him do it, and then you'll be able to learn from the depth of your heart. So, but if you want to you practice the Buddha Dharma and you try to contrast and you want to compare with this with the power, you want to be not learning from the master, but you want to be like compete with this master. Of course, if you are at a certain level that you feel that you can debate with him, then of course you can debate with him. But once you already accept this master as your teacher, then don't bring out your self-grasping and to try to fight the master. If the enlightened person gives you a chance to learn from him, but you try to fight against it, then you would lose the opportunity, the very precious opportunity, and you won't be able to go very deeply. So if you have a chance to be enlightened by an enlightened being, and this enlightening being knows how to to break you apart, to break your grasping self apart, then it's very difficult. So there, in a retreat, in a Zen retreat, there may be thousands of people, but then he would only pay attention to one person, and then because this person is ripened already, and then there's 999 other people in the retreat. Does it mean that this master doesn't love them? No, of course they love them very much, but then those 999 people are all scattered. But you need to gather your mental state of the mind so that the teacher may be able to help you to break through your grasping. So are you now ready to let go of all of your knowledge, let go of all your accomplishments, to let go of yourself, to put down yourself, so that the teacher can mold you? Are you ready anytime for that to happen, for the teacher to do that to you? Well, if you are not ready to do that, and there's still a little bit of self in you when you face your teacher, then it's very not useful, not beneficial. If you face your teacher and you think yourself as somebody important, you think of yourself as this person, as that person, then it's no use. So each enlightening being or each enlightened being would like to enlighten each sentient beings, not leaving one behind. But the sentient beings are not ready. That is why not so many people are enlightened, because we've been studying this for a long time, but we continue to be like in the past. So who's wrong in this? Who's wrong? Who's erroneous? Does the teacher want to help us? Of course, the teacher wants to help us. And for example, just like the teacher would like to drop a grain of rice into your mouth, then you turn your head away, and then the rice fell onto the ground. You lost the opportunity. So each master continues to wait for some students, so that the Bodhisattva can help guide them to go beyond the curve and to continue to go onto the path. So in the Zen world, we always say that if you are not a sword player, then don't show the sword. If you're not a poet, don't show the poem. But these days, the Buddhists are very much like that, even though they're not a sword leader or a sword player or not a poet. They continue to show the sword, they continue the poems, and then they would lose the opportunities. So when the Bodhisattvas watch over or attend the sentient beings, they continue to watch over and to attend to all sentient beings continuously. So we are just like their loving children, but we're not being very good children. We if we are good children, then we will continue to be loved by the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, because however we can progress, however we can best progress, then the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas will always continue to show us. But because we are so stubborn, we don't want to listen, and so they are very tiresome and they have to work very hard to help us to progress, and they use all sorts of all kinds of skillful means to push us onto the path. So if we can progress just a little bit, then that brings them great joy already. But it takes them thousands and thousands of years, thousands and thousands of lifetimes in order for one person to become enlightened. So it's not easy to progress if they are not ready, or they are not ripened, or they have not gathered enough karmic merits in order to transcend. Some people really want to, but they have not collected enough roots of rudeness, because in front of the enlightened beings, they are not able to accept all the things that are being taught to them by the masters. So many times we're talking of how the Bodhisattvas always care for and always watch over and attend to all sentient beings. So whenever we think of Bodhisattvas, the first thing is that we should bow down, we should fall on our knees and prostrate to them. So there's nothing that they say that so whatever they want to do to their kindness. They always take care of us because they want to take care of all sentient beings. They don't want us to leave the house of the Buddha Dharma. They want us to remain in the house of the Buddha Dharma so that we can continue to study and to learn. Yeah, but we're not like that. If we have time, then we try to fly away, and then once we already finish our meditative absorption, not meditative absorption, once we finish our meditative session, and immediately we start to talk about something else. So the Bodhisattvas really want us to remain in the house of the Buddha Dharma. But we're not like that. We try to go away. We fly away. We do not try to maintain our or to have ourselves being collected. And then it says here that the Bodhisattvas want to perfect all sentient beings. Well, this is something that we should write, into calligraphy, and to put gold on it, and to hang it on the wall. It says if the Bodhisattvas want to perfect all sentient beings, this is due to the greatness and due to the greatest kindness that the Bodhisattvas are saying this. To perfect all sentient beings is for them to become Buddhas. It's not to perfect sentient beings doing something else. So ever since the Bodhisattvas have known us, from past lives until now, until countless lives in the future, they continue to have this kind of wish to perfect us. So the moment we are not yet Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas cannot be not worrisome. So it's not just one sentient beings, but all sentient beings. So the Bodhisattvas continue to have to work very hard at perfecting us. So if we are wrong, if we like to sleep, if we do not like to meditate, the Bodhisattvas continue to love us and to watch over us, to attend to us, because they want us to be perfected. They want us to become Buddhas. So if we do something wrong, then of course we are at fault. And then but we're not just at fault with our teacher, but we are at fault with Buddhas and Bodhisattvas from the 10 directions. So if we do something wrong and we do not confess and we do not feel shameful about it, then we don't have one of those 7 wells of a holy person. If we don't have the wealth of the holy person, then there's no way that we can become holy. So this sentence, when we say that the Bodhisattvas want to perfect all sentient beings, this is something that we have to engrave in our heart, in our mind, to understand that the Bodhisattvas, all they want to do is to perfect us. The Buddhas want to perfect us. And so, with this kind of aspiration that they have for us, then we ourselves need to perfect ourselves. Don't try to bow ourselves. Don't try to make ourselves sink into the samsara. If we are in bondage, then our mind and our body will be in bondage and we will suffer. So in order to become a good daughter or a good son of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, is it easy? Can you do it? The Buddhas tell us to do something, then we can do it right away. It's just as simple as that. The Bodhisattvas ask us to do something, we do it right away. Can you do it? It's not that we cannot do it because we don't want to do it. Just like when the Buddha said that the 5 desires are delusions, don't continue on with the delusions. But are we able to drop them down? So it's very simple. The Buddhas asked us to do something, we just follow and we just do it. And then you become a good child of the Buddha. So you can say that, oh, my name is this, and I'm making prostration to you, Buddha Shakyamuni, to all the Buddhas and all the Bodhisattvas. Please witness my aspiration. From now on, I will become a good daughter or a good son of yours, and whatever you ask me to do, I will follow, and I will listen to your instructions. So if the Buddha said that you need to see that this physical body is not yourself, it's not your being, this is yours, this is then you should do that. You should not be attached to it. And the Buddha said the body is impermanent, then you should see that it is impermanent. And the Buddha said that you need to let go of all the afflictive emotions and the karmic imprints so that you continue to maintain in meditative absorption, then you have to do it. It is because you want to perfect yourself just as the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas wish. But because we are not really very filial children of the Buddha, we don't listen to the Buddhas 100%. We don't listen to the Bodhisattvas 100%. We still have any kind of faith or kind of believe in something else that you think that, oh, that is even better than the Buddhas, that is even better than the Bodhisattvas. That's why we go everywhere. We go and look for this and we go and look for that, but we don't even know what we are looking for. But we go from one point to another, from one street to another market. But what the Buddha taught us is very simple. The Buddha said, oh, this physical body, it's not ourselves. So, but then somehow we don't feel it, we don't feel like it really touches us. So then we try to go to look for something else that can gladden us. So sometimes we're happy, sometimes we're sad, sometimes we suffer. It's just like we are living in two extremes, and somehow we cannot transcend ourselves. So that's why the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas have to work very hard and have to work very hard at perfecting us. So sometimes when we are by ourselves and we think about how the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas are paying attention to us, they worry about us, they love us, and they think about us, and they want us to be transcendental. And we are very touched by it. In the midst of the night, if you feel that, then you should get up and try to make prostration to the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. You have to feel this, and you have to be touched by it toward the aspiration of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. There's no way that you can find any kind of love or affection as the love and the affection that is given to you by the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. There's nothing that they don't. There's nothing that is that can be compared to it. Yet we continue to forget about it. But if you are able to receive anything in this life, then why? It is due to the merits of the Buddhas. That's what the Buddhas had said in the past. So whoever believes in this, and you can have a very peaceful life no matter who you are. Because the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas have never wanted us to transgress. So that's why anything that happens to us, they want us to go through this so that they can perfect us. So sometimes we go through difficulties and challenges, because if we don't have difficulties and challenges, then we become very arrogant. So then the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas have to give us opportunities so that we can we can fall down, and we can fall down so that we realize that, oh, we are nobodies. We need to transcend ourselves. So suffering and happiness are things that the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas want to apply so that they can help us perfect ourselves. They want to perfect us for so many lifetimes. So no matter where we are, no matter where we go, no matter where we do in whichever lifetimes, they always follow us. And that's why we should be good children. You should be attentive to their aspiration, so that they continue to teach us, that they can continue to perfect us. So many things that happen in this life, if our mind, if we have complete faith in the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, just like what they have expressed to us, that they they want to perfect us at any time, then we should not be self-grasped, and we should not reject the help and reject the teachings and the instruction given to us by the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. So however our lives turn out to be, you know that it is under the protection of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. Don't think that you are wiser than them. Our wisdom is nothing compared to their enlightened wisdom, because with their enlightened wisdom, they can see and penetrate everything in these three worlds. So there's nothing in these three worlds that can be hidden from the view of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. And so this we have learned many times in the past, but sometimes because of our desires, and it's a wrong desire, and we accomplish this desire, and then we think, oh, the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas would not know about this, and then we try to do something that is completely wrong, and we may think, oh, maybe the Buddhas are sleepy now, and the Buddhas will not be able to see what I did wrong. No, actually, no, they see everything, and even if you do something wrong, it doesn't mean that they would love you less, because they can penetrate everything and they see everything. They see why you say that. They see why you are doing this. They see why you make this kind of mistakes. They love you very much. They love you, and it's not that they will abandon you, but they will find a way. They would find a way to teach you, to continue to enlighten you. So after a long time of living in the wrong way, and we ended up with a terminally ill illness, then we have to sit down. We have to think and contemplate, what did we do? What did I do wrong throughout this time? Then we have to realize that yes, we are erroneous. So don't think that you face with these obstacles without being at fault. So with these kind of things that happen to you, the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas try to awaken you, to wake you up, and then also karma is trying to show you that you are at fault, so that you can continue to purify. So those with the great merits, they would have wisdom to guide them. But for us ourselves, we have to think of ourselves as lowly human beings, lowly sentient beings, with faults, with mistakes, with errors, so that we can slowly progress. So we can be very smart, we can be very intelligent, but of course you have to see that there's something that is that is not completely full with your wisdom. So definitely you are at fault, and you have mistakes, you have errors. They don't love you less, but they have to teach you so that you can see your own faults. And once you can see your own faults, then you can progress quickly. But if you are at fault and they continue to tell you, to help you, but you still avoid taking the commitment, being responsible for it, or taking it as your responsibilities, then it's different. But once you make the mistake, and then you try to transform and to change yourself, then you'll be able to purify very easily. And if you are able to transform according to the positive way, then you'll be able to progress positively. And you'll be able to progress positively, and you can purify yourself and your errors quite easily. So this is their aspiration, their soul aspiration, to perfect all sentient beings, not for this lifetime only, but through countless lifetimes until now. They teach us, they guide us, they encourage us, but still, at this moment, we're still stuck and we're still being murky here in this samsara. So we need to make prostration and to apologize to them, to the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, that for countless lifetimes I did not listen to you, I did not follow your instructions. So now, from now on, you would like to, you need to make aspiration to let go of all your self-grasping, and that I would continue to remain in the house of the Buddha Dharma and to learn from you so that I can perfect ourselves. So day and night, we need to turn our mind toward this. As if there's a fire on our head, then we have some hopes that we'll be able to gain realization in this life. So you should try to soften your self-grasping, because you have not yet been able to transcend your physical bodies. Then you are really nothing. Your practice is really nothing. You have to transcend the first step, which is to transcend the physical bodies, and that's just the first step. There's still like 3 or 4 other steps beyond that. But you have to make the aspiration so that you can continue to complete the wisdom path that the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas have accomplished. So whatever you can do to perfect yourself, then you should try to do it, because the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, that's what they want to do for you. So if you want to gain the same wisdom as theirs, then you have to let go of all your ego, you have to let go of your arrogance. And if you know that you are at fault, then you don't continue on making those same mistakes. If you continue to do that, then you will be very far away from the sphere of liberation, the sphere of enlightenment. Because to live in this world, actually, only your wisdom is what is significant and nothing else. But because if life becomes more important, and enlightenment and liberation is something that you can take care of at other time, and you are at leisure of taking care of enlightenment and liberation, then there's no way that you can accomplish anything. You just sit there and leisurely wait for something to happen without putting in any effort. Then there's no use that you will be able to accomplish anything at the end. So you have to have this great faith. There's not even a single instant in this world when the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas don't pay attention to you, or don't care for you, or don't bless you, or don't attend to your needs and your spiritual progress. You have to have this great faith in your heart that wherever you go, whatever you do, you are under the protection and are being blessed by the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. And then you will see that many things, many miraculous things can happen. So even there are accidents, you're supposed to die from the accidents, but still the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas will protect you, and then you will continue to live on. So if you truly have faith in them, then you can give away your lives to them, and then they can do whatever they want to transform your lives. Because there's no bodhisattvas, no Buddhas who want to do something wrong for you, but all they want is to perfect you. And what is our legacy? What is our career? Our career is to perfect ourselves. Our career is to gain perfection of liberation. So if we turn our mind toward perfection, the perfection of enlightenment, deeply and sincerely, then we're able to connect with the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas unobstructedly, and then liberation is not too far away. But if we don't truly believe in this, then we will go on the wrong path. We will deviate from the liberation path. So the next thing they say that they want to be able to gladden all sentient beings. They want us to have pleasures, and they want to gladden us. But what kind of pleasure? Not the pleasure from samsara, not pleasures from the 5 desires. That's not what the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas want. They want us to have great bliss. They want us to have the bliss of nirvana. They want us to have the bliss of someone who transcends the 3 worlds, that the kind of bliss that they want us to have. So if one day we have money, the next day we cry because we lose our money, that's not what our Buddhas want for us. If you have money, then you become, self-grasping, if you lose it and you become suffering, then that's not the kind of pleasures that the Buddhas want for you. So whatever we have, everything we have, we grasp at them, right? There's nothing we don't grasp at. Whatever we have, that whatever we gain from the 5 desires, we can grasp. And once we grasp, then suffering will arrive at the same time. So the kind of pleasures that the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas want for us is not the pleasures from the 5 desires from the samsaric world, but it is the blissful from the state of nirvana, and that's what they want for us. And then here it says to bring happiness to all sentient beings without suffering, beyond suffering. And then it says here to cause all sentient beings to have wisdom, to be free from doubt in order to have wisdom. You can go, all over to all corners of the 3 worlds, and you can try to look for somebody who loves you as much as the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, but you would never be able to find anyone, because even for your parents, if they love you and they want to protect you and provide for you, but that's just for one lifetime. You may not be able to meet with your parents again in your next lifetime. No one can be your physical parents from one life to the second life. It's very difficult to meet your physical parents in this life again, in the next life. But the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas have never abandoned you from one life to another. Only in Buddhism you can find this, and only the enlightened beings would be able to continue to help you from life to life like that. So we have the greatest merits to meet with all these enlightened beings. It means that we have practiced for many lifetimes. So that's why we ended up meeting with them. So even if we read one sentence in a sutra and